You guys! I cannot believe we're here! This feels like, this is such a surreal moment for me. I'm not even kidding. I have not been in front of this camera. I think it's been like 9 months, you guys. Which is insane. That's just like absolute insanity. I cannot believe it's been this long. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Creepy Yet Charming. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. I wasn't expecting to feel this excited when I turned the camera on, but here we are. This feels so surreal. It feels so exciting to be talking to you guys again. I hope all of you have been safe. I hope all of you have been living your best spooky lives, because it has been seriously 9 months, which is just absolutely mind-boggling. I cannot believe that it has been that long. But it fills me with so much joy to say once again, welcome. This is Creepy Yet Charming. And if you are new here, thank you for joining us. We are happy to have you. And if you are an original spooky who has stuck around and been a trooper through this whole dry spell, thank you. No, I'm serious. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That seriously means so much to me for those of you who have stuck around. This channel has been a work in progress from the get-go, and it just means the absolute world to me that there's been so many of you who have just stuck through this. I promise I'm working on, figuring this out. I one day will have it figured out. Today is not that day, but one day. But thank you to everyone who stuck around and, didn't leave, when I was MIA for 9 months. That means a lot. And let's all just talk about the fact that I literally kept being like, oh, I'm trying to get better about posting every week, or, I'm going to start getting these videos out more regularly. Let's all laugh together. Or if you want to laugh at that, you're more than welcome to, because that was some serious wishful thinking right there. We had big aspirations at that point in time, and I'm not even gonna say that we're gonna try to be better about posting, because we all see how that went. So, without further ado, let's just get on with this video. Welcome back. I am so happy to finally be bringing this video to you, simply because there's been some major changes that have happened in my life the past 9 months. Some major things, you guys, so many exciting things that I've been looking forward to talking about and to sharing with you. I literally have been beside myself. There's already some spoilers in this video. You can see some things in the background that we'll be making future videos about. But we are in a new space, new part of the city, new spooky adventures are coming. And there's already so many good things that have happened that I promise you there's some good content coming your way. And today's video is no exception. I am so excited to, introduce the star of today's video to you. She is by far, one of the most insane things that has ever happened to me. And yes, it's a she. And if you saw the title of this video, I called it the Skeleton Chronicles Chapter 3. And there's a very good, or Part 3, I don't know what one I ended up settling on. But there's a very good reason why the video is called that. And for those of you who know, you probably already know what this video is going to be about. But anyways, we're going to be talking about a major, major, major exciting development that happened in the past 9 months, and that honestly is what the star of today's video is going to be. It's going to be this amazing item that I finally purchased, and you guys are gonna love it. You guys are gonna love it. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go grab the star of today's video, and we will be right back. All right, and we're back. and I have with me the star of today's video, who I am so beyond excited to introduce to you guys. You're gonna freak out. I would like to introduce Abigail. This is this is Abigail. She is my medical human skull, and she is a real human skull. And I purchased her literally like 5 months ago, which is just like insane to even think about. And literally, you guys, when I say that this has been a major bucket list item for me, I cannot say that with like, I cannot express that enough. Like this seriously has been a major bucket list item for me. Right underneath Catherine, the human skeleton that I bought like a little over a year ago. I have always wanted a human skull, and she is absolutely stunning. I still cannot believe it happened. This is a very surreal moment to be sitting here and finally talking to you guys about this. Because like I said, I've been absolutely beside myself and so excited to bring her to you. This has by far been, this is one of the cooler things that have happened these past 9 months. So, as you can see, we have been, living our best spooky life. And, it is always an adventure, around here. So if you would have asked me, a year ago that I was going to be sitting here talking to you guys about, a human skull, I would not have, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but like, I probably wouldn't have believed that it was going to happen this soon, because like I said, these bucket list items I thought were going to happen like way down the road, but here we are, and I'm so happy, you guys. I'm so happy, and I hope you guys like her. She is beautiful. Abigail is a medical demonstration skull, so she is 100% authentic and 100% real. But she was the purposes of these medical skulls were to help doctors when they were doing their residencies. When they were learning about like anatomy, things of that nature. These medical skulls would, they were in circulation to kind of like, be used in, like laboratory, like labs, like college labs. It was just not uncommon for like a instructor to have, one of these just handy, ready to go to do a demonstration, or, to kind of use as a reference, when these doctors and medical staff were learning all about anatomy and different things. So one cool feature about Abigail is she has all of her teeth, which is a very rare thing to find in these medical skulls, especially since they're becoming much more of like, they're getting harder and harder to find, the skulls in general, just because this isn't really a common practice anymore, we're in the age of 3D printing and everything's made out of resin these days. So like, there's just no need for them to be using a real skull for educational purposes. So the fact that she does have all of her teeth makes her a very rare specimen, and I just couldn't believe that I stumbled upon her the way that we did. I purchased her from the same oddity shop that I purchased my human skeleton. They go by the name of the Learned Lemur. And if you haven't checked out the Learned Lemur before, I highly recommend that you check them out. If you're in Colorado, they're definitely, only in Colorado, but they are by far the best oddity and curiosity shop that I've ever found or been to. They always come through. They always come through for me. All of my, my big purchases with, with oddities and, just any kind of like medical pieces have come from them. So from the Learned Lemur. So I can't recommend them enough. The staff is wonderful there. They're always so kind. They're always so knowledgeable. With that being said, though, I wish I had more of like Abigail's backstory to give you, but I don't. Our knowledge of her origins are very limited. We do know for certain, though, that she was a medical skull. And the way you can always tell is these medical skulls are going to be, they're usually in pretty pristine condition. The only imperfections you'll find is that they're usually missing a lot of the teeth. But you'll always see that these medical skulls are equipped with this hardware. And you can see that she's got this beautiful hardware that is, used to kind of hold everything nicely together. And we will be talking about how, I'll be showing you the inside of, the skull here shortly, just because, why not? I think it's cool to see, what everything looks like inside of there. I don't know if you clicked on this video by accident, you probably didn't realize you were going to be seeing the inside of a human skull today. But you are. But anyways, guys, I'm just so giddy about all this. It's so funny to be sitting here and introducing you to Abigail, and just, I don't know. These are the moments that I live for. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, just know that this is not the last of it. There's just so much good content coming your way. So stick around. But anyways, this is Abigail, and I hope you guys like her. You can just see that she's in really good condition, and she's by far, she's a beauty. She's a beauty. And one of the things that I find like truthfully fascinating about her is, I don't really know why. They didn't give me, too much information about her, so they didn't really date the skull. And what I mean by that is like how old the skull is. I have no idea how old she is. But the reason I think she might be a little bit older is because they told me that she's a grown adult, which, I believe, because you can see the wisdom teeth in the back. But her skull is like a little bit smaller than like a typical human skull, and I kind of feel like that was more customary. You would find that more people were just genuinely are generally built a little bit smaller way back when, and that makes me think that she's way older, but which would make sense anyways, because most of these medical skulls were heavily in circulation, in the medical field way back in like the 1930s and whatnot. So that was more when this was like a common practice. And I talked a little bit about that in my last Skeleton Chronicles video that I made. But yeah, it's just kind of fascinating to me to know that there's so much history behind her, that this skull is like, the same age as probably, close to around the Great Depression. That's mind-boggling, you guys. That's insane. Now, I have no way of for sure proving that. Even this hardware, honestly, like, the hardware could have been added later because, like, you see, like, how polished this is and how small some of the screws were. I feel like if the hardware was the same age as the skull, it would not look like this kind of hardware. This looks more modern to me, and it's in really good condition. If it was the same age as the skull, you would see some funky things holding this together. So either the hardware was refurbished or restored at some point in time in recent years, or maybe the skull, it's very possible that she may not be as old, of a specimen as I'm thinking she is. That's the fun about these things. I have no clue. I have no idea. But it's still, it's fun to imagine, and it's fun to know that you're holding an actual bit of history in your hands. And it's also important to remember that Abigail is a real person. She was a real human being. She had her own dreams, her own struggles that she went through. She probably had a family. We got to remember those things. And it's always important when dealing with these kinds of specimens to treat them with the utmost respect. I'm very big about that. I just think whenever I'm talking about these kind of things, I love to educate people on that. We get kind of lost in this kind of consumerism mentality, but at the end of the day, we have to remember this was a real human being, and she deserves to be treated with respect. And I want everyone watching this to know that I treat her with that respect. She, I don't look at her as just an item or an accent piece or decor piece. Not at all. Not at all. I look at her as a beautiful piece of history. I literally just said not of an item or a piece of whatever. I look at her as a snapshot of history. Like a literal tangible bit of history. That she lived I'm assuming she lived a full life, but she has a story to tell. And I look at her with the utmost respect, and I'm so thankful that, her forever home ended up being with me, and she goes in my curio cabinet and she stays behind glass all the time. And, I literally washed my hands 783,000 times before I even picked her up. Because like I said, these kinds of things need to be treated with respect. And I'm hoping that anyone watching this understands that. And if you ever are in the market for something like this, or happen upon something like this, or something like this comes into your possession, just remember, this is not a decoration. This is not, this is not something to be taken lightly. This is a real human being, and she is beautiful, and we love her for that, and we thank her for, I'm assuming she donated her body to science. And we thank her for that, because she probably she probably taught so many new doctors about anatomy. She probably helped so many people who got to learn from the absolute best, because you're not going to learn better from anything than you're not going to learn, nothing's going to be better than the real thing, is what I'm trying to say. If you're trying for educational purposes, you'll always learn the best from the real thing. So, she probably helped so many people, in their practice. And, we have to thank her for that, for her service, and for donating her body to science, and for being, the spectacular life that she is, our soul, I should say. She's truthfully beautiful. And I am so happy that I finally got to introduce you to her. And I hope you guys like her. She is by far she is a dream come true. I'm serious. She is definitely a dream come true. But I know I've been babbling on for 13 million years. So let's get on with this demonstration. I want to show you what the inside of a real human skull looks like. All right, so bear with me. Because this always gives me so much anxiety. Funny story. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just undoing the clasps that are right here. I actually think I'm going to turn her towards me for that. My God. Okay, so that was very nerve-wracking. Anyways, like I said, she's got some really good hardware, so this is always it gives me peace of mind knowing that she's really well put together, because these skulls, these medical skulls are fragile, so we just have to be very careful. But anyways, I just undid the clasps that are right there, and we're gonna remove the skull cap. and it just removes like that. And it's so amazing, you guys. It's just so cool to see like the inside portion of this, because you can see all the like the porous bits, like in the side, like the sides of the skull cap. And I spoke about this in my last video, in one of my videos that in the previous Skeleton Chronicles video. I explained that you can always tell when something is real bone simply by looking at how porous it is. So you see kind of in the outer layer of the skull cap there, you see all those little porous bits. That is a telltale sign of real bone. So if you're ever worried, if you're ever like looking for if you're ever in the market for a human skull, that is my word of advice to you, to make sure that you're getting something authentic. If you don't see those porous portions in the bone, it's not real. That's not something that's easy to fake. So that's my word of advice to anyone who's ever in the market for something like this, because you don't want to get fooled or swindled on something like that, because that would be a horrible experience. But anyways, you can always tell real bone because it's got the porous, little, like different craters and whatnot in it, are porous portions of the bone. And that's something that's going to be in, like, it doesn't matter what part of the body it is, you're going to see that in all bone. It's pretty fascinating. Again, looking in here, it's just incredible the things that you can see. You can still see a lot of those. So let me start with this. So you see on the outer part of the skull cap here, we'll start with that. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to set Abigail down because I just, we don't want to risk dropping her. So she's safe and secured. But anyways, so I'm holding the skull cap right now. I guess I should have started with the outer portion, but these things are never scripted. They're never scripted, you guys. But anyways, looking at the outer portion of the skull cap, you can see some of my favorite features of the skull. These squiggly lines that you see here that kind of resemble veins, these are actually called cranial sutures. And cranial sutures exist because when you're an infant and you're in the womb and you're forming and growing, your skull is not fully formed. So fun fact, human beings are not born with fully formed skulls. Your skull is not one solid piece. It starts off with these different plates of the skull, which kind of remind me of tectonic plates. They've always reminded me of that. But they kind of start off where these plates are in different positions on top of the head. And then as the fetus, forms and grows, they slowly start to come together and they fuse together over time. But they are 100%, not this is not like one solid piece. But anyways, I love these cranial sutures. I always thought looked so neat and fascinating. And then the cool thing is when you turn this over and you look on the other side, you can see the same cranial sutures through the bottom or the interior of the skull cap. Pretty cool. I think that's quite amazing. But anyways, I'm going to set that down. Even now, like, I get nervous, like, holding this. Like, it's so fragile, you guys. It's so fragile. All right, let's go ahead and set this down. All right, now, let's talk the interior of a skull. So, I've been, like, so excited to show you guys this. So, when we flip Abigail around, you can see the interior of the skull. And it's a lot more, you would expect it to be like a little bit more, I guess, complex. Like, I remember the first time I ever saw the inside of a skull, it was in some biology class. And, I remember I had the same thought, and I'm pretty sure it was just like a picture of it. But it's not as complex as you would expect because, you associate the cavity that holds the most complex organ that can exist in your body. You would expect it to be this big, complex thing filled with all of these corridors and, I don't know, like, maybe that's just me, but that's what you would expect. But it's really not. And you look in here, and it's you can see where the spinal cord would connect, and then you can also see I don't know if you can see kind of these thin spots right here. That's actually the backs of your eye sockets, which is kind of fascinating because you can see how thin the skull truly is right there. That's why I always joke. That's why they say that your eyes are the windows to your soul, because they literally sit in front of the part of almost the thinnest part of your skull, because you can literally see, that's almost translucent right there, which is insane. Down here, so down a little bit further, down a little bit further, your eye socket kind of so right here is the upper portion of the back of your eye socket, and then it goes down. Your eye sockets take up a huge portion of your skull. It's absolutely insane. It's insane. You wouldn't expect. Your eyes are much larger than you would expect. But anyways, guys, that is the interior of a human skull. And look, you can see more of those cranial sutures right there. But anyways, guys, that is Abigail. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. And if anything else, I don't want to call it educational because I'm by no means a medical professional or anything like that. I just, I want to say I hope you found it informative, because I'm hoping that you learned something new today. And if anything else, I'm hoping that you gained a new perspective on things. I feel there's a very negative stigmatism that surrounds things of this nature. I guess I should say not things of this nature, but death in general. There's a negative stigmatism that surrounds the concept of death and imagery of death. And many people get uncomfortable by this kind of thing because it's a hard thing to face and a hard thing to talk about. But it's important that we acknowledge that death is a natural part of life. And I think just as we photograph and display all the beauty and the joys of life that we experience while we're in this human experience, I think it's just as important that we look at the scarier aspects of that life, which is, death and, more of the biological sides of things, like the biological, basics that a lot of us don't really think about, that we just kind of don't acknowledge, but it's there, this is what we all look like underneath. And it's not something to be feared. It's not something to be scared of. It is literally just part of the human experience. And that was my main purpose for coming on here, and introducing you guys to Abigail. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you, got to see something new. And I hope that you'll hit that subscribe button if you are new. And I hope that you will, hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications when there's new content. Because as you can see, there is no rhyme or reason to these things. We can sometimes go MIA for 9 months. So, which I promise I'll try not to do that ever again. But that's why it's important to hit that notification bell, and definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way you don't miss any of the exciting content coming your way. Because you guys, I promise, this is just the beginning. There's so many fun things that I'm excited to talk to you about coming your way, and the best time of the year is just right around the corner, so stay tuned. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining me. It was so good to see you all again, and I hope you all stay safe, and happy Halloween.